Aloha, everyone. Jody Mountain here with Lineage of Light on the island of Maui. Here with more principles of the ancient work of Kealahoku, the pathway to the stars. I just returned from trainings in Europe, in Portugal, and in Switzerland. And I'm not sure if it's me or the times or the people that are coming, but everything seems to be accelerating and very powerful at this time. Maybe it's the fact that people have been locked away for a few years and now they're free to meet together. I'm not sure, but certainly there is there's a new energy or a more vibrant energy happening all of a sudden to me. And I came back really feeling and inhabiting more and more this idea of coherence. So coherence, according to Google, is the ability to bring things into a unified whole, the quality of forming a unified whole. So in terms of this work of ancient Lomi Lomi, Kealahoku, it means, am I operating from a place of more and more wholeness? Do my insides match my outsides? Am I putting on a good smiley face or facade and really feeling grumbly and resentful inside? Is my house clean for guests, but then when guests leave, or when you look in my closets, it's a total mess? And it's not to make anybody right or wrong. It's simply to come into more of an awareness of where am I incoherent and where am I in coherence. And when we're in coherence, what it means in this paradigm is that more and more of our family members, our internal family members, all of that which we perceive on the inside and the outside, is moving with us, is coming with us into each moment, which is alive. So everything inside of us is alive. All of our cells, all of our emotions, all of our memories, all of our hopes, all of our sensations, all of our images that we perceive in the outside world. Everything inside of us is all the perception awakening through our filters most of the time, but it's still a part of who we perceive ourselves to be and what we perceive is going on around us. And so when we're in a place to be able to embrace all of that ohana, all of that family, then we can all step forward together as a unified whole. And that is a powerful image. It's a powerful feeling for me. And I think today, in these days, it's a very important idea to contemplate and to feel, because no one is ever going to know if you are truly coherent or not, or moving in that direction, let's say. I find these things kind of never have an end, because then I feel like I'm coherent and then I realize, oh, actually, I realize I'm actually not matching myself or not embracing myself in one way or another that I didn't realize before. So be open to the unfolding of awareness of how we can keep growing in that coherence. But am I as coherent as I can be in this moment? Or am I just telling little white lies to get past certain situations? How am I navigating with myself? And it doesn't matter what anybody else on the outside thinks. It only matters where you are and where you know yourself to be. And again, try not to beat yourself up for telling a little white lie or for being seemingly incoherent in one way or another. My advice is to just use it as an opportunity to discover more about yourself. Because when I discover that I'm slightly incoherent, or I sidestepped an issue here, or I presented something in my house, perhaps my drawers are full of papers and I cleaned everything up for guests, which I grew up doing. Instead of beating myself up for having a drawer full of papers, I get to now recognize and say to myself, oh, that actually doesn't match. Isn't that interesting? And then I get the choice to go ahead and make things coherent, because we don't have an opportunity to come into more alignment with ourselves unless we have an awareness of what we're actually doing. So, excuse me, I came back from Europe with this kind of buoyant feeling about coherence and about the opportunities that moving in that more and more consciously in that direction brings. Now, I think everyone is more or less moving in that direction, subconsciously, because we all want to be more together and more centered and more clear and all those wonderful things. My assumption that we all want that. And for it to come consciously into my field, and for me to be able to be attentive to that, spot things, feel things, and then start to change things, is really, really exciting to me. It's like a new growth edge. That, as I say, I was probably on that edge in many ways and other ways before, but not in this kind of conscious kind of expression of coherence. And so what I'm noticing with that coherence is that my energy, my outgoing energy, well, my internal energy to myself is more able to circulate more freely. And then my outgoing energy with my relating to the outer world is also circulating more freely. And so it's really fun to not try to do any of this, but just to feel the results. So as things get more connected or matching, more ohana is welcomed and met and moved with, there's more clarity in my internal communication as well as my external communication. And so the energy of coherence, of course, doesn't have as many things that it gets stuck on. So every time we unwind something that's not coherent. So I don't know what kind of example to give you. Supposing that you're kind of keeping a secret from somebody because you feel like they're going to judge you or something. But it's not really a big deal. It's just that you don't want them to think a certain thing that you don't even know they're going to think. So, and you keep it from them. Well, as much as possible, if it's a possibility, just be you and just say what's true. And then there's more coherence happening between your insides and your outsides. And that's one example. The other is on the physical level, which I mentioned before, of your home and how you attend to things. So not only that things are matching, but with this idea of coherence that has popped into my field, I'm now very excited about attending to the things that are incoherent in my house, in the ways I have plants that I love and a lot of times had forgotten to water them. I know it's horrifying for you plant people to hear that, but it happens. And so now when I'm more attentive to what it somehow puts me more in the moment, and I'm more attentive to what I'm doing, and I'm more attentive to my environment, to what needs to be done and what seems like just like a magnet of what meets me. So in moving towards more coherence, what meets me is less procrastination, more care in what I'm doing and noticing. I guess my priorities have changed. If something needs doing, I'm no longer racing out the door going, I'll water the plants later, and then I forget. I am noticing and doing, and somehow time has elongated itself so that there seems to be so much more time to do everything, even though I'm doing more. So yeah, coherence. I'm sure that you've heard of this in many ways and probably in many different spiritual traditions. I'm just sharing my version of this particular new landing in my experience in the last little while. So that's my brief check-in for today, and I hope that you're well. If you want more information about Lineage of Light and the retreats that I teach on Maui and in Europe, you can find them in the link below. I do also have a retreat coming up on Maui, a 10-day retreat in October of 2022. So if you'd like to come and have a live experience of the ancient pathway of Kealahoku, the pathway to the stars, that is available for you. Just check the links below. Aloha, everyone. Thank you for joining me today.